everyone, and welcome to my review of the final Paladins update for 2023, the Aico Vault. Balance is quite light this patch, so I'll actually start this vid out by skimming the skins. The stars of the show this patch are not one, but two Ray skins, Admiration and Delight, both of which dress Ray up like another champion, that being Leon and Moji. These are very fun skin concepts, and I'm shocked it's taken us this long to get something like this in the game. I know we have that one Ruckus skin making him Androxus, but that doesn't count. Both the Ray skins have nice visual effects. I bought the Moji variant, and I especially love the chain heal turning into Moji's Bon Appetit treat. Even cooler with these skins is that the voice packs are done by the original Leon and Moji VAs. Well, I say cooler, but unfortunately this is a topic of criticism for me. I'm not a fan of the character direction taken for these skins. Instead of Leon/Moji acting like themselves with unique voice lines, all of their lines are the same as base Ray, which lessens the luster of these skins for me. The Moji skin is also bugged right now and has the voice pack of the Leon skin. Despite that grievance, I like both skins, and I hope we see more like them. Barrack should be up next. Just saying. The next unique skin for this patch is Grave Danger Androxus. Yay, another Andro skin, as if he doesn't have enough. Still, I think the skin is cool. Low-key, I think Omen's design should have resembled this skin instead of what we got. Besides the new unique skins, we have three recolor skins this patch. Frozen Over Sky, a recolor of her Battle Pass demon skins, Soul Animus Furia, a recolor of her demon skin, and Soul Devourer Genos, a recolor of the Soul Eater skin. Each skin looks great, and I love that the community has a chance to get recolors of locked skins. The original Furia skin was part of a season pass that you can no longer purchase, and the original Genos skin was obtained by buying 3 other skins back in OB67. Technically speaking, it's one of the most expensive skins in the game. Many players don't like recolor skins, but I don't mind them. I think they're neat. The big event this patch is the return of the Dragon's Call LTM. This LTM was last seen in 2018 to hype up Amani's release. 2 teams of 4 fight over the Key Sphere. While holding the Key Sphere, you cannot shoot, use abilities, or be healed. Teams are tasked with taking the Key Sphere to the enemy's goal. The first team to score 4 points wins the match. I remember Dragon's Call being my favorite of the Golden Age LTMs, and after playing it again, my opinion is unchanged. However, matches in this mode are very one-sided, partially due to the insane strength of flankers with vertical mobility in this mode. Eevee and Maeve are very popular, with the strategy being to throw the ball high into the air where no one can contest it, then fly up with a movement skill, catch the ball and spike it into the goal without retaliation. With the return of Dragon's Call came a list of banned champions, and I would like to see Eevee, Maeve, and Vatu added to that list. When those champs aren't present, the mode is at its best, with long back and forth matches. Still, despite the annoying flankers, I think the mode is quite fun and a great change of pace from normal games. Also, I've said it before and I'll say it again, but the Dragon's Call map should be an Onslaught map. It's a shame that the original map designers put all this work into making a beautiful map, only for it to be played in one LTM and then never seen again. Also, Onslaught really needs more maps. There's only 4 in rotation. Now, let's get on to the balance. Overall, it's quite light, but I do want to preface that this is the first patch where balance has gone straight to the live game without any PTS or preview to leave feedback. I am not a fan of this philosophy for balance. It reminds me of Overwatch 2 where they just shove changes on you patch day and that's that. Anyways, regardless of the methods, we got notes to talk about. Ashe is up first with a buff to the Slugshot talent. This is the talent that massively buffs the range of her burst cannon, but removes the explosion from it. Now the talent bumps up the damage of the weapon by 50, making each shot deal 450 damage instead of 400. Now you could kill a 2200 HP champ with 5 shots, whereas with the base weapon, you need 6. Despite sounding small, a faster time to kill will be quite substantial in the long run. I really like this change. Mind you, I don't like Slugshot, as I think losing the AoE is a massive hindrance, but now having the bonus 50 damage somewhat makes up for that downside. This is a great buff for the long-range poke Ashes, and might give her a niche on some maps with long sightlines, like Timbermill. Next up is Betty La Bomba with a nerf to Fiery Disposition. The bonus burn damage now only applies to your weapon shots, and not your abilities. I think this is a fair nerf. When Betty was released, I originally thought that's how the talent functioned, and was surprised to see all explosions dealing bonus damage. Betty can still spit out tons of damage, and I don't see this nerf breaking her. Off topic though, but when are we getting a rework to Controlled Fury? That talent has been garbage since day one. Up next is Khan with a rework to the Chokehold card. The old card used to heal you when hitting Commander's Grab. The new card increases the travel speed and distance of Commander's Grab by 8% scaling. Even though Khan is not in need of buffs, I am a fan of this change. One of my biggest pet peeves in Paladins is that almost every champion has loadout cards that are objectively pointless. The old Chokehold was one of those cards. Having value in more cards allows for more loadout diversity to flourish, and that plays into Paladin's strengths as a customizable hero shooter. As for the new Chokehold, I'm actually surprised Khan didn't have a card like this sooner. I think this card is going to see a lot of use with the Vortex Grip talent. Watch out for that. Next is Koga with the most questionable change this patch. The Adrenaline Junkie talent has been mega nerfed. The damage needed to generate 1 energy has been doubled, going from 80 to 160 damage. As per this tweet from Cryptic, the community manager at EvilMoji. The reason for this change is that this talent is a must pick for Koga, and nerfing it allows the team to make base kit adjustments to Koga in the future. Overall, I do agree with the explanation, I just don't like the execution. I would have preferred to see this talent nerf alongside the proposed base kit buffs, instead of butchering Koga's best option and leaving him to rot for presumably a whole patch. This explanation also should have been in the patch notes. If we didn't get the tweet explaining this, I would have said that this change is dumb and makes no sense. But since base kit buffs have been confirmed for Koga, presumably next patch, I will have to revisit this change to see if this nerf was warranted. Up next is Lilith with a talent rework to Murderous Intent. The old garbage decreased the projectile size of the Heart of Crimson by 20%, but your weapon shots pierced targets, gaining damage with each pierce, and damage fallout from the weapon was removed. The new Murderous Intent does the following. Hitting an enemy while they're taking damage from Swarm or Blood Hex will increase your movement and attack speed by 10% for 4 seconds. This effect stacks 3 times. You might notice that this is now Lilith's only talent without a downside, which goes against Lilith's give and take design, but I never cared for that philosophy and quite like this talent. I must preface that if you're a solo support that has to heal a lot, this talent won't come into play much. But if you have a second support taking care of heals, you can really go to town with this talent. The bonus attack speed is quite noticeable once you're ramped up. Not part of the talent, but important to note with Lilith, when you hit an enemy affected by Swarm or Hex, you get an ammo refund, so this talent further pushes that. With Lilith's massive health pool, she becomes a decent threat against some champs. Because it lacks a downside, I foresee this talent being a popular pick for all Lilith players, even though it's obviously designed to be the damage talent. I love when we get reworks to useless talents. Please continue this trend, EvilMoji. Up next, we have a nerf that has the community in a tizzy. That's to Maeve's Cat Burglar. The bonus damage has been lowered from 30% to 25%, and the uptime of the damage boost has been lowered from 5 to 3 seconds. Unpopular opinion, but I'm in favor of this change. The bonus damage from Cat Burglar requires no effort to achieve. The reduction of 5% is barely noticeable. 2 sets of daggers and a pounce will still kill most champs, dealing 2,400 damage. The only breakpoint this does affect is champions with max HP cards capped out. Maeve is not the most outrageous champ out there, but being on the receiving end of a good Cat Burglar is frustrating, and will probably continue to be so in the future. I think the talent will still be Maeve's best. Next is Maldamba with a buff to Ripen Gourd. Now instead of cutting all of the Gourd's damage, the talent reduces the damage of Gourd by 40%. Instead of the base 275 DPS, the Ripen Gourd will deal 165 DPS. I hate this talent with a passion, not only because it's boring and dumbs down Maldamba, but also because it replaced Bokono's Curse, which was one of my favorite talents in this game. Now, the main downside of this talent is mostly negated. At least in Onslaught, I see no reason as to not pick this talent. The healing output and self-sustain it provides is insane. Keep in mind that with cards, you can make the cooldown 6 seconds. This change feels like an attempt to bring Maldamba up to speed with other power crept supports, when in reality, Maldamba should be the base for which other supports are balanced around. Another talent rework up next, and that's to Omen's controversial Umbral Lance. The old talent permanently set the Aphotic Reaver to Antumbra mode, aka Rifle mode. The new talent is as follows. Aphotic Reaver no longer ramps down, but its spread is reduced by 50%, and its fire rate is reduced by 30%. This new talent aims to set the Aphotic Reaver at a permanent middle ground between the two modes. Ideally, this should give Omen consistent mid-range pressure, while easing up on the frustrating long-range capabilities that the old talent provided. Unfortunately, this talent is garbage, and that's due to the slower fire rate. You would think that the fire rate reduction would scale off the base Penumbra mode, firing once every 0.3 seconds, making the new fire rate once every 0.39 seconds, right? Well, the 30% slower fire rate is based off of Antumbra mode, which fires once every 0.48 seconds. So, the actual fire rate with the new Umbral Lance is once every 0.624 seconds, which is slower than the base weapon. If the talent gave the gun a fire rate of 0.39 seconds, I think it would be fine. But as of right now, the gun actively weakens you with no upside. You have lower DPS at close range due to the slower fire rate, and you have lower DPS at far range due to the spread. In my opinion, the old Umbral Lance was frustrating, but could be fixed. Addressing the more card or adjusting Omen's damage falloff would have been wiser. Alternatively, the slower fire rate of the current talent could have been added to the old one. That way, Omen would have the opportunity for consistent long-range damage at the cost of his fire rate. Hopefully this talent gets adjusted soon, because as of right now, it's garbage. Ruckus is up next with a massive talent buff. Flux Generator's increased shield count is going from 1,300 to 1,500, and now, the talent reduces Emitter's cooldown by 1 second, and grants you CC immunity while the ability is active. Ruckus is a character who's more popular in the rank scene when compared to casuals. Even then, most players use Aerial Assault for the added mobility. I'm interested in seeing if Flux Generator shakes up the talent meta for Ruckus. CC immunity is incredibly powerful on a front line, see Makoa and Inara. But Ruckus's CC immunity is tied to that shield, which can be melted with Wrecker. I foresee this new Flux Generator being a noob stomper talent. Against teams who don't buy Wrecker, a half-decent Ruckus will stomp them. However, I think the talent will be weak against experienced players. Last up is Vatu with another nerf to Enveloping Shadows. Now the talent has an internal cooldown of 3 seconds. This change annoys me. When Vatu released, I made a comment in regards to his talents, saying that instead of nerfing this one, I hope they bring his other 2 talents up to speed. Instead, Enveloping Shadows has had nerf after nerf, while the other 2 garbage talents have not been touched once since release. I know, Vatu can feel oppressive to fight, partially because of this talent, and the nerf is light, but I hate that instead of creating talent diversity for Vatu, the devs keep opting to nerf his only viable option. Anyways, that's gonna wrap up my thoughts on the Aico's Vault patch. Overall, a small little update to keep us satiated until Season 7. What do you guys think of the patch? Let me know down below. Don't forget to clap that like button and laser down that sub button. Snatching the bell is also a great way to stay in the loop. As always, I'm YellowNinja, and peace.